Hey everybody, it's your old pal Mike. I hope you're happy, healthy, and safe. You can see behind me the Marshall rig is stacked up, which can only mean one thing, and that is that I'm making a ton of noise in my parents' basement, not unlike high school Mike. So it really takes me back. The reason that I am setting up amps and making a lot of noise is actually because I am in the middle of preparing for a safe, socially distanced video shoot that happens Friday, wherein I will be using my musical talents to try to raise some money for homeless LGBTQ youth, which is something that is so sorely needed at this time of year. Because I'm preparing to do a live version of the Silent Night Christmas Carol cover that I did way back in 2016, I thought it'd be fun for us to get together, pull out some popcorn, a boozy cider drink, and have a look at the video for that and watch it together and see what I come up with, what I remember. Consider this like a commentary track for a 4-year-old video. If for some reason you haven't seen the video or you want to relive the Christmas magic, I will leave links to it down in the description box below, as well as to the track itself on Bandcamp, which you can buy for whatever you want. It's name your own price. If you've ever wanted to support the channel or me, well, that's a good way to do it, and you get a cool Christmas song for your participation. Without further ado, let's hit play and see what we come up with. Okay, the first thing that you're going to notice is, yes, I am standing on a skate ramp. My friend Jess, who is an incredible drummer and a dog mom and one of my favorite people in the world, Jess lived in this Arts District warehouse space for a while, and it's actually kind of a well-known space in underground punk and skate circles. It's a place where a lot of bands practice, a lot of music videos have been filmed. You may recognize it. I think the Melvins did some stuff there. In any case, it's sort of a well-known skate ramp, and when I had the idea to do this video, which was excessively late in the game for getting something out by Christmas, this location was the only one in mind. It was the biggest space I knew of that could be the darkest, that we could get that inky blackness surrounding me. And I don't know, plus playing on a skate ramp is that's kind of cool. So yeah, thank you, Jess. You're the best. I hope you're well. Say hi to Harrison, your sheep, for me. Yeah, this is a cool space. Ah, my green Chucks. I loved those. They disintegrated not long after that, but those were good shoes. I like those. Pancake headstock shot. I think Jazzmasters have the best headstock out of anything in the Fender catalog, with maybe the exception of the Starcaster and Marauder. I think those headstocks are really lovely, even though they look like a high heel shoe. That swoopy colored in line is just, it just gets me every time. But of the standard catalog of models that have endured, the Jazzmaster headstock, which is distinctly different from the Stratocaster, keep that in mind. That headstock is my favorite. Moving on. Oh, you can see in this shot the scratches behind the bridge of Pancake. That actually happened during the recording session for this song. That was the first time I'd ever really broke into the finish and started wearing away to bare wood beneath. So that was the beginning of that. And you can even see that the Great Eye of Jupiter on the forearm contour is much smaller than it is now. I have really played the heck out of that thing. Oh, so at this point in Pancake's life, I was still using the original pickups, which sadly started losing something down the road. I don't know if it was degaussing or something else wrong with the pickups, but soon after this, I just started noticing that they were losing output, and oomph and bass response. They started sounding wiry and thin, and man, it's so sad. Original pickups are always good, but if you have a vintage guitar that you love and you want to keep using, it's totally fine. It's totally fine to swap out pickups and to make something old continue to work for you. I may have them rewound at some point, maybe send them to Curtis Novak and see what he thinks, if he can recharge them or rewind them or something, but I'm relatively happy with what I've got in there now. The Novak JMV in the neck and the JM Fat in the bridge. And, I'm thinking of redoing that demo video I did of those pickups because now I have space and I can turn up and plug into a real amp. I might as well show you what they sound like in person. We'll see. Let's move on. This is my favorite part of the song, that like descending vibrato push that sounds like the song is sinking into a bottomless pit. Oh, I'm really proud of that moment, as I am of the whole thing. I still really can't believe that this song worked out the way it did, but that part, that's my favorite. So the hoodie that I'm wearing is not what I initially wanted to wear. What I wanted to wear was this gray sweatshirt that I have from the Forum in LA that has some inspirational message on the back about loving life. But it was vetoed by Caleb, the gent who's directing this and is behind the camera. Caleb is incredible, by the way. I will leave links to his website down below. But Caleb vetoed it because it was dark gray and he thought it might blend into the background. And at the time, we were still thinking of shooting this entirely in black and white instead of color. So he said, hey, wear this blue one that you brought instead. Now, this blue one is a hoodie that I found in Seattle at Goodwill. And it is a knockoff Portal, the video game shirt. It is knockoff Valve merch, and I didn't realize that even when I bought it. I felt like the little guy on the chest was familiar, but I couldn't quite place it. We went with this, and it still looks good. It's a little tight, and this is before I started working out, so it could fit better, but, whatever. It's 2016. Who even cared about fashion in 2016? Not I. Pancake. Best guitar. My beard. My beard was very big in this video, but not anywhere near the biggest it's ever been. And this is extremely short for me. At the time, I was known for wearing my beard quite a bit longer, like ZZ Top levels of beard growth. In fact, I went as ZZ Top in Back to the Future 3 for Halloween the next year, and I think that might be the best Halloween costume I've ever done. I nailed it. So this moment where I see the camera and I look past it and I go, and I smile. I saw my wife standing there at the edge of the stage, and having her love and support makes me really happy, and seeing her makes me really happy. So I smiled at my wife, and I know that's gross and disgusting and cute. We are all those things, but that's what that smile is. That's what that smile is. All of the drive in this song is coming from the Yellow Cake Furry Burrito. Let me grab that. Why was that strenuous? So all of the drive on this song is coming from the Yellow Cake Furry Burrito, and in fact, it is the pedal that inspired me to even do this song. I was messing around one day shortly after this showed up on my doorstep, courtesy of Ryan of Yellow Cake. He wanted me to check it out and see what I thought, and immediately I fell in love with this thing's gnarly, thrashy sound. But as I began exploring the possibilities of this pedal, I just kind of stumbled upon Silent Night. And within a matter of minutes, the entire arrangement had just come to me. It fixed itself into my mind. And I was like, yeah, I have to do this song. Now, the Yellow Cake Furry Burrito is one of my favorite pedals. It's fantastic. It's not just a drive, and it's not just a fuzz. It is both. It is a drive slamming right into the front end of a fuzz. And the combination of those two things, you get the tight mid-range of an overdrive, but you also get that fuzzy, dirty, gnarly thing that only a fuzz can give you. You've got controls for gain and drive, so you can control both sounds, mix them to your will. You've got filter, which is just the treble roll-off, and the level, which is volume. You've got a switch for fat, which I always have up. I want that extra bass response. But the LED that you see in the video that's lit up, this is actually a voltage control. This thing allows you to starve the fuzz circuit, and even just rolling it back a little bit completely changes the feel and response of the pedal. You can paint in so many different colors with this little LED-based control, and that's worth the price of admission. So I'm going to leave a link to this pedal in the description down below. I love this thing. I cannot say enough great things about Ryan and Yellow Cake, and particularly the Furry Burrito. What a pedal. Oh. Oh yeah, my old pedal board. That pedal board is one of those like fancy wooden ones made by Salvage Custom. I got it for like $70 off Craigslist, which is a great deal for a $400 board. Didn't that company like fold and take a bunch of people's money and not deliver product? I think I remember that. Anyway, stuff like that makes me really glad we didn't like feature the name badge in the video. Oh, and just in case you were wondering, the stuff that's on this board is also what I used to record the song. So first up in the chain is the ZVEX Fuzz Factory, and then at the time that was that Steak and Eggs JHS Keeley collaboration pedal. I used the compression side of it. All that went into the Whammy 5 pitch shifter into the Furry Burrito, which then went into the Ernie... Oh, sorry, no, not the Ernie Ball. It went to the OCD, which is no longer on my board. The Small Sound, Big Sound Fuck Overdrive, which is one of the best overdrives ever. Then into the Ernie Ball VP Junior, and into a Line 6 DL4 that I modified with colored LEDs and for a little bit of a volume boost. And then that went into my Strymon Blue Sky, which is the reverb that you hear on this track. Fantastic pedal. Cannot recommend it enough. Let's go back to the tape. The 2 amps that you see in this video are actually what I used to record this song in the studio. On one side, you've got my 79 Marshall JMP running into the Mach 810 412 cab. It's the size of a model 1990, made by Sour Mash Cabs out of Florida. I believe the correct model number from the Marshall catalog for the 1990 size cab with 412 speakers was the 2032 or the 2033. I think they were both. One was a bass cab, one was a keyboard guitar cab. Mine wears 2 Celestion reissue greenbacks and then 2 70s bass cone blackback speakers. They are some of my favorite speakers in the world. And the combination of the two is equal parts girth and clarity. It's fantastic. I love this cab. It makes everything sound good. And then on the other side, you've got another amp that I had at the time, which I eventually sold, which is my 65 Fender Bassman piggyback head and cab. The cab isn't original to the head, but it is the exact same year. It had Utah speakers in it, which I think I preferred to any of the other available options. Jensen's are pretty great. That was a good amp, but it didn't really quite work for what I like to do. I don't really get on with like perfectly clean amps, and I liked that thing as a bass amp more than anything. I like a little bit of hair on my guitar signal, and to get that kind of sound, you really had to crank that thing, and I don't know. I just didn't really like it. Also, it had this like upper mid-range thing, like the exact frequency that the scrape of a pick lived at, and every time I hit a chord, it just came out at me. So that wasn't the amp for me. So I've gotten rid of it. But it is on the recording, on the clean and the dirty side. It's all there. Also, I'm seeing the Ignator cab, the 212, that's right under the JMP, which I stacked differently to make sure they were both similar heights. But the Ignator cab, I left that in California, I think. I don't need it back. yeah, the butt shot. I have no idea why I insisted on that being in there, but I had to have it. I think I wanted a different perspective. I think I wanted... Maybe it was because of the inky blackness in front of me and seeing the light shining on me. I really liked that look and wanted to fit it in somewhere. But it's not an important shot. And even Caleb, the director, was like, hey, maybe you should take that out. And I said, no, it's staying in. Anyway, I really wanted that shot in there. Who knows? Who can say what 2016 Mike was thinking? Look how much fun I'm pretending to have. It was really fun to shoot a music video with people that I trusted because I felt like I could really be myself, but it was still like one of those like nerve-wracking experiences for me. I'm still getting used to being on camera and not letting the lens freak me right the hell out. But at this point, it was really tough, and I'm proud of the performance that I was able to give because I mean, as soon as that camera went on, all of a sudden, like I was hearing those voices in my head, like, "Oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you look weird." And I got through it, and we got a really good video, I think. Also, now the narrative is kicking in. You see the Christmas lights on one amp. This was very intentional, and in fact, I storyboarded this entire video. I drew up a storyboard because I really wanted even a loose narrative in this video. I didn't want it to just be me playing and looking cool or as cool as I possibly could. I had a very specific idea for how I wanted this video to go. In the beginning of the video, I start out completely surrounded by darkness and alone, and that was an expression of kind of where I was at that point. We had only been in California for a year, and I was feeling completely disconnected from family and friends and purpose. I had no opportunities. I had nowhere to play. Still feeling like I was getting the lay of the land, and that is a very honest reflection of where I was at the time. It was really tough at times. And then when the fuzz pedal kicks in, that whole change is an expression of me choosing to fight back against those feelings and to say like, no, I am worth it. And no, I have something to contribute, and trying to choose, as we often do over and over and over again, to push back against inadequacy. And then once I made that choice to push back and to try and overcome what I was feeling, well, then the spirit of Christmas, it slowly overtakes me. It overtakes one amp, and then, oh, boom, there's Christmas lights on the next amp. And then before you know it, they're all over me. And does anything say Christmas quite like that? No. And now they're on the second amp. We bought those Christmas lights at Lowe's and returned them the next day. Thank you, permissive return policies. Confessions of making a music video on a shoestring budget. No regrets. And now I'm covered in lights, and this is one of my favorite visuals from anything I've done. I just really like the joyful expression of me being covered in lights, and it is Christmas, and it is, darn, I done been had by the spirit of the holidays. Now, my wife, Borat, from Borat, strung me up in these lights in between takes, and it took a while to figure out how to, like, wrap them around me so they wouldn't immediately fall down. This is just really fun to do. This is an idea I had that I expected everyone else to say no to, and everyone else instead said, hell yes, let's do it. And I just think it really works well. I just think it works really well, and I love it. It makes me so happy just seeing it again. So in the middle of the behind the bridge picking that I'm doing there, where I go, I'll get Pancake. So at that point I go, from 9 to 13 on the G string. You can hear the tone change just a little bit, and that's because on top of the Furry Burrito, I kick on my trusty old ZVEX Fuzz Factory, still one of the best pedals I have ever owned. And in fact, maybe the pedal that got me into pedals, because it opened up an entire world of possibilities that I had, until that point, either ignored or had just been totally disinterested in. Maybe I'll do a video on this thing at some point, because everybody seems to have this idea that it's impossible to tame, but I say to that, nay. Nay! That's incorrect. It's one of the most useful and usable tools I've ever had on my board. Anytime I need inspiration, I pretty much just go to that pedal. Yeah, so the Fuzz Factory, it's a little glitchy. It is a little unpredictable, but it is powerful. And there are some incredible sounds in that little green box of joy. So, yeah, someday we'll do a video on that. God, that's fun. I can't believe, still, 4 years later, I can't believe this happened. Not only was the song itself like an afterthought, I think I recorded it on December 5th at Jazzcats Studio in Long Beach, California. Shout out Johnny Bell, right around the corner from where we lived. And then I wasn't sure what to do with it, and sometime around December 12th, so, like, getting close to Christmas, December 12th, I had the idea, like, oh, I should do a video. Talked to my wife about it and talked to some friends about it, and they all said, yes, you should make a video. And I don't know how to do that, so I put out some feelers, and my friend Caleb immediately threw his hat in and said, yes, I want to help with this. And so did Vanessa Wheeler, aka Vavá, whom you have heard me praise so many times on this channel. She's the best guitar player I know. She came and took behind-the-scenes photos, candid stuff, in-process stuff, the picture of my wife dressing me in Christmas lights. That was Vanessa's. Even the thumbnail for the video itself is Vanessa's picture. And having her support and her love on that set, it really put me at ease and made me feel capable of producing something good. And then I also have to, like, thank my wife, who was there the whole time as, like, a production assistant, like, taking care of how I looked and making sure that everybody had what they needed, and then dressing me in lights. And I have this wonderful group of people around me who make me feel like I can do anything. The response that followed the release year after year is fantastic. Right around this time, every year, this video starts, like, doing numbers, and it means the world to me that some people even still really only know me from this. They go, oh, you're the guy with the Jazz Master. You did the Silent Night thing. And so this is something that I'm immensely proud of, and I'm happy to be known for. Anyway, that was really fun to take a stroll down memory lane to the Silent Night video. And, I thank you for coming along with me and giving me the space to make an easy one, because I needed one this week. But in the meantime, if you, again, would like to see the video, link in the description down below. If you want to buy the track or just take it, it's yours anyway. Link in the description down below. I will link to all of my great friends. I will link to the Furry Burrito and the Fuzz Factory. And I will also link to the foundation that this upcoming performance will be supporting. In any case, thank you so much for watching, for coming back to the channel again and again, for liking, for commenting, for sharing, for subscribing, doing all that good stuff. You really make me feel welcome on this old platform called YouTube. Take care of yourself and each other, and we'll see you in the next video.